Next said the results were already unknown. I won.
Welcome to this edition of Back in History. In Back in History, we take you back in time to the events that occurred in the historical past. In this edition, we bring to you the story of the day Abiola died. MKO Abiola was a Nigerian businessman and politician. He attended schools in Nigeria and abroad. He invested in several businesses and was a very popular figure in Nigeria. He met with the creme de la creme of the business community in Nigeria and Africa. He also met with the ruling class. He was popular, he was influential, and highly connected. Nigeria gained independence in 1960, and 6 years after independence, Nigeria witnessed its first military coup. This coup was bloody and led to the termination of the First Republic and the takeover of the reins of power by the military. The military remained in power for many years, and in 1978, the election was conducted for the transition of power to a civilian administration. Shehu Shagari won in the election and was sworn in as the second civilian president of the country. He went on with his administration, completed his first 4 years, contested for a second term, and won. But before he could take the oath of office for the second term, the military struck again, with Major General Muhammadu Buhari taking over the reins of power as the new head of state. Buhari governed for only 2 years, and there was another coup which removed Buhari from office and brought on board Major General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. That was in 1985. Babangida remained in power from that time till 1993, a period of 8 unbroken years, and Nigerians were tired of military rule. There was the increasing call for return to civilian administration. When the calls became really loud, Babangida decided to lift the ban on political activities and set up an electoral commission to prepare for election. 2 political parties were formed, and Nigerians were happy that for the first time in many years, the country would soon be governed by elected leaders. The electoral body went to work and produced a timetable for the political parties. Primaries were held by the parties for the election of candidates for the respective offices. For the Social Democratic Party, SDP, one of the political parties, their candidate for the presidential election was MKO Abiola, and for the first time in many years, Nigerians were hopeful that the military would soon return to the barracks. The presidential election was scheduled to hold on June 12, 1993. When the date came, the election held across the Federation of Nigeria, and from the results collated from the various states of the Federation, MKO Abiola was in the lead. What was remaining to declare him officially as the winner of the election was the arrival of results from few remaining states. But while Nigerians were expecting the said results, the military summoned the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, and instructed him to immediately suspend further announcement of the election result. In compliance with the military directive, Professor Humphrey Nwosu suspended further collation and further announcement of the result. While the electoral body was waiting for further directives from the military hierarchy, the unthinkable occurred. The military announced the annulment of the entire election. This did not go down well with Nigerians. There were protests in most parts of the country. The annulment was condemned by Nigerians at home and by the international community. The seat of power became really hot for Babangida, and the situation almost degenerated to anarchy. And in a swift reaction to the situation, Babangida took the decision to, in his words, step aside from power. He hurriedly constituted an interim national government headed by a civilian Ernest Shonekan to take over the reins of power in the country. Ernest went on to work but only lasted in office for 84 days. He was removed from the office by General Sani Abacha in yet another military coup. Abacha ruled from 1993 and continued in power as though nothing had happened. He made no mention of Abiola's election. It appears that for him, Abiola's election was a forgotten matter. But Abiola was unrelenting. He forged on and called for the restoration of his mandate. When this appeared to have fallen on deaf ears, Abiola took the decision to declare himself as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He held a press conference in Ekpetedo in Lagos State and made the declaration. This appears to have been what the military had been waiting for, an opportunity to have Abiola arrested. On the commands of General Sani Abacha, Abiola was arrested with immediate effect and locked up in solitary confinement with no indication or hope of imminent release whatsoever. All the pleas from within Nigeria and abroad did not change Abacha's mind about Abiola's detention. Abiola remained in detention for about 4 years, and there was no hope of any imminent release. But while Abiola was still in detention, Abacha fell briefly ill in his residence in Abuja, and in a matter of hours, he passed on in his guest house. Nigerians were shocked to hear about the death of their head of state, General Sani Abacha. Arrangements were made for his funeral. He was flown in the presidential jet and taken to his home in Kano and buried in accordance with Islamic rites. Abacha was immediately succeeded by General Abdul Salami Abubakar, who also came under intense pressure to release Abiola from custody. While perhaps still grappling on whether or not to release Abiola from custody and how soon, the unexpected occurred. Abiola died. When the news broke, the entire country was shocked and thrown into mourning. The news was unacceptable. Questions were asked and answers needed as urgently as possible. Nigerians were united in grief over the inexplicable death of MKO Abiola. Some answers were given by the military, followed by the burial of Abiola. Abdul Salami then continued in power. During his reign, the questions continued to be asked about the death of Abiola. Abdul Salami did not stay in power for long. He only stayed for 1 year, and during the 1 year, he saw to the conduct of election for the emergence of a civilian administration. In May 1999, he handed over power to Olusegun Obasanjo. When Obasanjo took over, he constituted a Truth and Reconciliation Commission headed by retired Supreme Court Justice Chukwudifu Oputa. The panel was otherwise known as Oputa panel. The panel sought to heal and reconcile a country that had been fractured in many ways by years of military rule and dictatorship. One of the shocking testimonies at the Oputa panel was the story of the day Abiola died. This story was told by Major Abdul Rashid Aliyu. Major Aliyu served as Chief Security Officer to General Abdul Salami Abubakar and was an eyewitness to the death of Abiola. At the time of the Oputa panel, Major Aliyu was on course in the United States of America but was flown back to Nigeria under diplomatic protection to appear before the Oputa panel and tell the world what really happened. For us back in history, we believe that a story of this nature should be heard directly from the eyewitness. We have a video of Major Aliyu recorded at the Oputa panel, and credit for this video is given to the Nigerian Television Authority, which was the official broadcaster of the Oputa panel. Let's hear from Major Abdul Rashid Aliyu.
The evidence I shall give before this Honorable Commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Major Aliyu, please tell the Commission your full names.
My name is Major A.M. Aliyu. Abdurrashid Muhammad Aliyu.
Where are you now?
I'm on course at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, United States.
Please
Speak up and speak into the microphone. You are being recorded.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, Major, you got the summons to appear before this Honorable Commission.
Yes, my lord.
Please, would you explain why you were not here at the last adjourned date?
My lord, there was a disaster in United States, and they've closed all their airspace. There were no flights. They restricted people from leaving the state, and I find it difficult to get flight. In fact, before I come, the embassy have to come in. We have to use diplomatic sources.
So it was not in disobedience to the summons?
It wasn't, my lord.
Thank you. We thank God for your life.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, Major Aliyu, between June 1998 and May 1999, where were you?
I was the chief security officer to the then head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar.
As chief security officer, what were your duties?
As chief security officer, my duties was to ensure the safety of the CNC, the first family, and the villa.
Is that all?
That's all.
Did you do that alone?
No, we have other sub-units and other security outfits that contributed to the security of the villa. We have the SSS, the police, the NIA, the Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps Detachment, and so on.
And so on. Okay. From what unit were you posted to serve as CSO?
From Defense Headquarters.
What is your own special area in the Army?
I'm an intelligence officer from the Nigerian Army Intelligence School.
Okay. Now, you know why you are summoned here.
I do, my lord.
You were present when late Chief Abiola died.
Yes, my lord.
Will you please tell this commission all that you know about the circumstances that led to the unfortunate incident?
Yes, my lord. On that day,
You remember the date?
7th July, 7th or 8th?
Yes. 7 July 1998.
7th July 1998.
Yes.
An American delegation came to see the then CNC. They were with him at about 2:30. He gave me a call and said, make arrangement for the delegation to see late Chief Abiola. May his soul rest in peace.
They were with him, were with the CNC where?
In the villa.
That's right, go on.
Then I call SP Zadok. I can see he's promoted. He was inspector then. I call him.
Who?
SP Zadok.
That's right.
I called him and told him to go and prepare Chief Abiola. He is going to see some guests at the usual place. which was Aguda House. I now called the Aguda House, talked to the stewards there, and asked them to prepare the necessary drinks and so on that they used to give when visitors come. I waited in the office for the delegation to come out. When they came out, I told the drivers and the then Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, who was with them, Alhaji Buhari Bala, that they should go to Aguda House. I'll come and meet them there. From there, I went straight to where the late chief was detained. I met Zadok there. We entered the vehicle and started coming towards Aguda House. Zadok was...
You and who entered the vehicle?
Zadok was driving.
Yes.
A bodyguard was staying in the front.
Yes.
Myself and late Chief Abiola was staying behind. When we were approaching Aguda House, there was a radio call from our control. They requested Zadok should come and open the office of Chief of General Staff. My lord, you can remember that there was, within those periods, there was no Chief of General Staff because of the situation, and the then Chief of General Staff was just appointed. That was the first day he will be in office. And after that coup issue, the offices of Chief of General Staff were locked up, and Zadok was in charge of those offices, so he was holding the keys, and nobody had access to the place. So when the CJS came to the place, because he did not tell us he was coming, we were not aware, so I did not instruct Zadok to open the offices. So when he was there, there was a radio call that the CJS is already in the office, and he needed those keys. I now told Zadok, okay, when we arrive at the house, go ahead and open the offices while Chief will be seeing the American delegation. When you finish, you come back. By the time we arrived at the house, in fact, he was about going. I said, no, don't go with that car.
Which car?
The car we came with.
What car was that, yes?
A 504, that car was tinted. It has a tinted glasses because it's specially kept for carrying Chief Abiola. And if you go with it and we're taking him back, that means we use a plain car, which was not good. So I asked him to leave that car there, give the BGs the key, and take my own staff car and use it to the place. In case we finish with Chief, before you come back, we'll be able to take him back. He now left to my car. I entered inside with Chief, and we met Thomas Pickering,
Go on.
Susan Rice, Ambassador Twerel, and Alhaji Buhari Bala, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. When we entered, they exchanged pleasantries. They talked. The chief recognized Thomas Pickering, mentioned how they were met, crack jokes, how they were blamed for planning coup against Murtala, how they were arrested, and so on. He recognized, remember some members of state inside. Now, he asked him, are you well? He said, yes, I'm well. You can see I'm quite okay, except for this, my swollen foot. Then he said, you see, I woke up this morning. I was not told I'm seeing you people early enough. So I rushed myself in brushing my teeth. Unless that I have some toothpaste maybe hanging around my throat. So they cracked jokes over it and they sat down. I went to sit just about a meter away from them. Now, at this junction, the steward came in with the refreshment, put their cups, served them. Wanted to serve them.
What were these refreshments?
Tea and coffee. Tea in one flask, coffee in one flask. He asked them if they will take. Susan Rice accepted to take tea. Ambassador Twerel accepted to take tea. Ambassador Pickering accepted to take coffee. Late Chief Abiola declined. They were served and the steward left. Then they went ahead on their discussion. After a few minutes, the chief started coughing. Then he said, excuse me. Then they continued again. He started coughing again. After some times, the coughing became profusely. He was coughing and coughing and coughing. So Susan says, maybe if you get water or something, it will clear. So he said, yes, okay. He will take the tea. At that time, I stood up from where I was standing. I moved towards the center table to serve him the tea. But Susan Rice, being the only lady there, she served him the tea. And I was standing there watching over her because I also have interest there. I watched when she served him the tea before I went back and sat down. Now, at this juncture, he was coughing continuously. Then he paused, picked the cup, and sipped the tea, then kept it back. After that, the coughing increased. So he stood up and said, excuse me, removed his big gown, went into the toilet. Then all of us heard him coughing. After about a minute, I was getting worried. So I jumped up. I said, Chief, are you okay? Are you okay? I want to open the door of the toilet. As I was about going in, he was coming out. He was sweating. He looks tired. I said, what is wrong? What is wrong? He said, please, can they get my cough syrup in the room? I said, sure. So we laid him down on the couch. I went out, told one of the BGs to use the other BG car, not the official car for Chief Abiola, to go and bring his cough syrup from where he was staying. I came in. By the time I came in, as I was coming, he said he was feeling cold. We put off all the ACs. Then he said he was feeling heat. We should open the windows. We draw all the curtains and open the windows. At that time, all of us were standing. Everybody was confused. Then Susan and I said, let's get the doctor. I said, okay. I used my mobile phone and called Dr. Wali, the then presidential physician. When I got him, he told me he was within the villa, not in the clinic. I said, come to Aguda House immediately. We'll have a VIP on emergency. He said, okay, he's on his way. We were there, waiting for him to come. Then it occurred to me that, look, I know how this man is. He may said he will run to the clinic to bring his medical bag. I tried to get him on the mobile. I couldn't get through. So I had to dash out. And I told Alhaji Buhari Balde, stay here. So I had to dash out, enter my car, and rush and intercepted him at the junction. He was already going towards Aso Clinic. I said, no, just come like that. Look at him first. Then we can go for the back. He said, okay. He now turned with the car and followed me. Then we arrived at the place. This took us exactly 7 minutes, 40 seconds. When he arrived, he touched his pulse. He looked at him. The chief was lying down. He left the couch. Now he was on the floor. They were fanning him. He was sweating. He was groaning. So he said, look, we have to move him to the hospital. Let's call for an ambulance. I said, no, we're not going to wait for an ambulance. Let's put him in the car and just go. All of us joined hands, picked chief. As we were doing that, Zadok arrived. When Zadok arrived, I said, what is happening? I said, the chief is sick. We now put him in the car, and immediately we started moving. I called the clinic and talked to Dr. Ali, one of the doctors in the clinic. I told him, look, set up the emergency room immediately. Dr. Ali said she set up the emergency room immediately. Get all the doctors, get everybody ready. He's coming with a VIP patient. Emergency situation. He said, okay. And on our way to the clinic, I called the CNC, his direct line. He was not in the office. Then I called an officer's mobile. I said, why CNC? He said, he's in a meeting. I said, go and give him inside. He said, he's in the chambers. I said, go and give him the phone. I want to talk to him. So they gave it to him. He said, what is it? I said, the chief is sick. And it's very serious. All of us are confused. We are rushing him to the hospital. Emergency situation. He said, did you get Dr. Ali? I said, yes, he's already here with us. He said, okay, keep me posted. Let me know what is happening. I said, yes, sir. When we arrived at Aso Clinic, We picked him up, took him to the emergency room. All of us moved into the emergency room because the confusion was so high that nobody remembered all this protocol of emergency room is only for doctors and so on. All of us were there. The American delegations, the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, myself, the doctor, and everybody was just there. The doctors were doing all what they could. Then I saw the Chief of General Staff arrived at the Asa clinic in only one car, only him and his ADC driver, not even oddly, without cap. He said, what is happening? What is up? The CC just called me and told me that. So he was like confused. He went in. He was mortal and said, oh my God, not this hour, not this hour. Then I saw him trying to I was afraid, let you know, if small people like us did that, it's understandable, and when we have our second in command doing that in front of another country people, it will give a kind of impression. So I suggested, sir, it's okay, why don't you go back? We will sort things out. He said, okay. He went back to his vehicle and left. After some time, I called the CNC. I told him, we are still here. The medical team are still working. He said, by the way, do you know whether his family have left? Because his family saw him the previous night. I said, I don't know, but they were staying in Baba Gana King Ibe's house. He said, okay, get him. If they are there, tell him to bring them, let them come and see what is happening. I got Baba Gana King Ibe on phone. I tell him, sir, our guest is seriously sick. We were in emergency room. The CNC directed that I should tell you to bring his family as Asokun to come and see what is happening. He said, oh my God. He said, okay, I will do that. After some time, before Baba Gana King get to me, or before the family arrived, the chief gave up.
That took what time?
Between
the time you got to the clinic and when you were told he gave up?
Exactly 1 hour, 20 minutes.
Go on.
Now, I now call the CNC. I told him, well, he has given up. Since he said, oh my God, why this hour? Why now? He said, okay, I'm closing the office. You people should meet us at home. And that day he was having Council of State meeting. He was with all the governors. They have to stop the meeting and carry some few governors, his CGS and his service chief. They went straight to the residence. At this time, Susan Rice told me that, look, accept our condolences. We have seen all the people have done. I mean, I know it's a grave shock to you people. Now, is there anything you people want us to do for you? I said, yes. Please give us the privilege of letting the family to know first before the press or the whole world know about it. They said, well, you know our arrangement. We already have pressmen waiting for us at the airport. If we leave, we are supposed to go and give press conference and we'll take off back. So, how much time do you want us to give you? I said, well, the family are already on their way. So, as soon as they arrive, we are going to tell them, then we can go. They said, okay, is there anywhere we'll sit? I said, let all of us go to the residence.
The residence of who?
The CNC. All of us left in a convoy, and on our way to the house, I got Baba Gana King Ibe on mobile again. I told him, well, it's unfortunate. Our guests have given up. And the family, instead of going to Aso Clinic, they should meet us in the CNC's residence. When we arrived there, the CNC and all his services and theirs were already seated in this room. So we all came. Pickering and Twadil extended their condolences to the CNC and show concern. Everybody, you can see the whole place was quite remorse. Everybody was feeling bad. Then the family arrived. When the family arrived, I took them to a second sitting room. Then the CNC said, oh my God, how can I tell this family? What will I do? Then Susan Rice offered, say, I'm a lady. I will help in this situation. She stood up. The CNC stood up. And one or two of his service chiefs with the CGS, I can't remember, but they now moved to that smaller sitting room where the family was seated. Then the CNC told them, and Susan Wright and the ambassador Pickering said, look, we were there, everything happened in front of us. And I don't think there's any foul play. He told them that, please accept our condolences, this and that, and left. So when they came out, they now entered their vehicle and left for the airport. And that was when they gave their press conference declaring what happened.
The above is a sad story of how the curtain fell on the life and time of Chief Moshood Abiola, the presumed winner of the June 12, 1993 election, which took place across Nigeria. Abiola was never alive to be sworn in as president. He was too close to the seat of power, yet too far away from it. He remained in custody for several years. History will remember him for long. Abiola has been immortalized in several ways by succeeding governments, including the setting aside of June 12 every year as a public holiday in Nigeria. Thanks for watching this edition of Back in History, and do remember to subscribe to the channel or follow the page for regular notification on every new video.